So I thought it would be really important to make this video for education purposes in regards to why it's important to measure things when you start flexible dieting. The reason being that so often we overconsume things that we think we're eyeballing to be proper portion sizes, and in fact we are way off. So what I'm going to do is take two common things that we could over portion, peanut butter and cereal. The fun thing about flexible nutrition is that you can play around with things that you really enjoy eating guilt-free, because there is no good or bad foods. It's all about what you fit into your macros, and it's like a budget. That's the way I like to explain it to clients. It's like a budget. I give you a certain amount of budget money for protein, carbs, and fats, and then how you decide to fit that into your day is up to you, so long as you're getting that fiber in, you're getting that water in, and you're trying to stick as close to your macro numbers targets as possible. Again, it's like playing Tetris, so automatically right off the get-go you can let go of hitting the numbers perfectly, because that's just never going to happen. But it's just a sense of information purposes and education purposes to know what you're consuming in your everyday, guilt-free, of course. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you. I am a big cereal girl, so I love all kinds of cereals. I don't discriminate. But let's just take cereal, okay? So if I show you the label for cereal, for 1/2 of a cup, it will give me 3 grams of fat. It'll give me 42 grams of carbs, 5 grams of fiber for the win. It'll give me 10 grams of sugar and 6 grams of protein for this kind of cereal. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I would typically do if I wasn't measuring. So in the days where I would just like eyeball more portions, and then we'll compare what it looks like to when you do actually measure it. So if I were pouring myself a nice big bowl of cereal, I mean, I'm gonna want a lot of cereal. I like to typically, as many people, fill it up. So for me, in the days of, you know, when I didn't know about flexible nutrition, this would have been a normal portion size for me, which we can clearly see is way off the cuff. What I'm gonna do is I have my bowl on my scale. I pressed tar, so I'm at 0. And then I'm gonna just look at the nutrition stats once again to see how many grams I need to fit in. So let's see, it's adjusting, the camera is off. Okay, I need to consume 54 grams. I'm not sure if you can see that. 54 grams. So this is measuring out 54 grams. Right on the cut. Here we go. We're over a little bit, so we take a bit out. We add a little bit in. Okay, 54. Now, you can see clearly there is a huge discrepancy between these two bowls. Okay, so we can see that this one is way off compared to this one. Now we're going to try it with a measuring cup. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try it with a measuring cup. So not all measuring cups and spoons are standard, even though they're supposed to be. So just for fun, let's compare what it is to do an eyeball portion of what we think is compared to when we portion it out by weighing it, and compared to what happens when we just use measuring spoon, a measuring cup. So I've got my measuring cup, I've filled it up, and now I'm going to weigh it to see exactly what it gives me. So here's my measuring cup. It's 1/2 a cup. I'm going to pour it in, and let's just for fun see how much it is. So this is 58 grams. So although it's over by a bit, it's over by 4 grams. It could, you know, not necessarily make or break you. However, do you see how these little tidbits could add up over the course of your day. So they add up over the course of your day, and for sure that difference would show. So now let's look at another item that's really common to overdo: peanut butter, which, by the way, is a fat, not a protein. If you look at its genetic makeup, okay, it's higher in fat than it is in protein, therefore it is a fat. Now, peanut butter is super easy to overdo. You know, you open it up, it's nice, and I love the crunchy kind. You could just spoon it out like it's nobody's business. So I'm gonna just show you, if we were to look at and measure out a portion size. So a portion size of peanut butter for this one, in fact, is 15 grams. For most of them, they are 15 grams, but always look at what the portion serving is. So if I were to just go to town, get a nice hipping gallop, and I'm gonna weigh it out. And I mean, that's not uncommon, that big spoonful. I will show you what it is. So a big spoonful, like I took out, is 40 grams. Now, 40 grams, when the serving size is 15, can you see how it's easy to go over? Another common thing would be measuring spoons. So it says for 1 tablespoon. So this is a tablespoon. So just for fun, I'm going to use my tablespoon and measure it out to see what the difference would be. So a tablespoon, I'm going to measure it out. So by using my tablespoon, it gave me 27 grams. Again, the serving size is 15. Okay, so we're over again. This is how I measure out peanut butter. I have my measuring scale set to tar, so it's at 0 grams. I will put my jar on and I will subtract 15 grams from the total. So it's a really easy way to just be accountable to how many grams of peanut butter you are actually consuming. So you just would measure it out by removing the peanut butter from the overall total to get to your 15 grams. So those are just 2 of the common items that we consume probably every day, or at least throughout our week, that we can be easily over consuming. And it could really impede the results that you're looking for. Not that it's about trying to hit your macro targets all the time or being stuck measuring your food for the rest of your life. However, by doing this, it keeps you accountable to exactly what it is you are consuming, and used as information purposes to educate yourself in making choices that really reflect what kind of goals you're out for. So my big thing is make sure you get that water in and you hit your fiber. Try to aim really hard to get as much protein as you need. They recommend 1 gram per pound of body weight. And the rest, I mean, try to get as close to plus or minus 10 grams per macro, and have fun with your food, because life is much too short to be stressed out whether or not you can fit a Snickers or a glass of wine in your everyday food. So let's just start removing these moral labels. That's pretty much it, and paying attention to what real portion sizes are. Peace, love.